Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. Good evening and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. We're a little late. We were chit-chatting. Sorry about that, guys. Also, Mr. H went a little long, so... Anyway, welcome to the program. Let everybody know that we're live. Share out the link out there on the YouTubes and the Twitters and the Facebooks and the Insta-ticks. Whatever else ticks you got. If you have a tick, we don't care. We take
Maybe
all
get a
sorts
shot,
of...
right? Yeah.
Well, if you have that kind of a tick, yes. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like a nervous tick or whatever like that. We don't care.
Yeah.
We might even find them endearing.
Indeed.
Sometimes the what do you call it? The bug is the
feature?
Feature.
Yeah.
Exactly. But with this, we have a great cast here today. We're going to get rolling. So we got some stuff to talk about. The news has actually been rolling in for once, so that's cool. We got Price of Reason here. How you doing?
Good. Kind of chilly weather, but aside from that, I'm good.
Yeah, I heard it's getting cold where you're at. It's a little chilly here, but thankfully we haven't gotten any of the dirty word yet, and I'm hoping we don't. So, but CC, you know all about that.
Not this year, I don't. It's just been warm and there's lots of grass.
Well,
nevertheless, I went skiing.
Would you rather
today,
have
so
some of the
it's not
dirty
that
word? Yeah, I guess you would.
Well, I'll take lots of dirty right now. Wait, phrasing. Nevertheless,
nothing wrong with either way.
There's artificial dirty on the mountain, and it's good enough to ski on. So
Rocky Mountain.
Well, as long as I don't trip over a rock, which has happened. That's kind of painful.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And that's how a Sonny Bono died, probably.
In the cold?
No, he was skiing.
Oh.
Am I the only one who remembers that?
Yes, now that you say it,
yeah,
I
he
think
was skiing. Yeah, absolutely.
He hit a tree, though. He didn't trip over a rock.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wasn't he already kind of old? Too old maybe to be skiing?
Not really. He wasn't that old.
That was the 90s or something.
Yeah, yeah. He was in like his, 40s?
When you're going at highway speeds,
he died in his 40s.
Do tend to be deadly.
He's probably in his 50s by that point. I think wasn't he a mayor somewhere?
But you're right. He was a little older than I thought. He was 62.
No,
yeah,
he was a little younger than that.
62 is already like you're on the cusp of maybe putting those skis down.
Yeah, but he was mayor of Palm Springs.
Doesn't mean he has to ski.
Yeah, I've seen some 80-year-olds on the mountain.
I was gonna say he was pretty spry. That's why I thought he was younger. I thought he was younger than that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would only ski if I had no choice. If there was something that I was under duress and there was no choice, but I had to ski now.
And you were like James Bond. You had to get away from some.
I didn't realize he was that much older than Cher.
You don't like the idea of flying through the wind at 80 miles an hour on a pair of boards?
No, not really.
I'd love that. Sounds cool.
I'd prefer to water ski.
he was 11 years older than Cher. I didn't realize he was that much older.
He looked
Sorry,
like he
guys.
was 50 years old. Maybe the mustache. He looked like he was 50 years old.
He
in
always
that
looked
look.
the same age. That's my point. Yeah, he just like
She kind of maintained herself for a while as well, and then she looked young, he looked old, and they both stayed young and old for a long time.
well, and she was one of those women that peaked in her late years more so, even like in the late 40s. She still looked really good for her age. Then she started getting the work done, and she started
Right.
showing.
Now she looks
Yeah.
like a mannequin, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. But anyway, speaking of mannequins, Script kind of looks like a mannequin. How you doing,
I
Script?
definitely do look like a mannequin. I don't have any of the features needed to, but you can dress me into various costumes.
You look like one of those mannequins in a pretentious clothing store in the mall. I'll say
Yes.
it.
Oh God, yeah, I do. Except I'm not as shiny. That's the
No,
thing. I'm not as shiny.
You're not silver and shiny, no.
Yeah.
Like the one that the T1000 looked at and gave face to in T2.
T1000, but no, you're right, because, and this will get into more of the pretentiousness, because I've actually been to Paris, France, in the Champs-Élysées, and they have a bunch of white mannequin models that look like the T1000, but they're just glossy white. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It'd be a good troll job one day to like grab my McCoy cosplay and dress one of them up and then take a photo and be like Script Doctor in the.
This is me out in public.
Yeah.
I went to the mall. I got some ice cream. You just put ice cream
and just like grab it and put random places all over. Yeah.
Then we went to the bus station and the zoo.
Here's me getting escorted outside of Disney Studios.
Yeah. Here's some kids kicking me.
Here's some kids kicking me.
Yeah.
And then the birds landing on me, of course. You gotta do the birds one.
Yeah, then you had to go to the car wash after that.
Yep.
But anyway, I hope you're doing well. I know you had a busy day.
Yeah, it's been nothing but meetings, but I mean, it's a good sign. I mean, people are getting, at least people like me are getting work in Hollywood town. So we'll see how long that lasts. But yes, I've been pretty busy, but I'm happy to be here and talk to you guys, because we have a good subject before we jump to
We have a couple. Yeah, we have a couple here actually. But before we get to those, we have clobbering times here.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? Thank you, Tom, for having me on. My good friends on the panel and friends in the chat. Happy Mardi Gras, where applicable, of course.
Oh, is it?
Well, down here it is anyway. Yeah, but
Nolans?
I don't. Yeah, well, I'm sort of close to there. I don't go to it, of course. I hate Mardi Gras, but I mean, it's.
You don't like boobs and beads?
New Orleans are all shut down. You could go to any time down to the French Quarter in New Orleans and go see that. It's just. Yeah. But yeah, it is that time, so they're celebrating.
I think Tom is making plans right now in between the morning shows.
I'll bring you down there.
Not go.
I'd bring you down there. Just bring radioactive.
I'd go watch the chicks flash their boobies. That's fun.
Well,
I hear the food's pretty good.
We'll bring some beads. Yeah.
Food's good. Look at Goddess Whim's all excited already. There you go. Yeah.
Hey.
And it's Fat Tuesday. I didn't know there was. What's Fat
That's
Tuesday?
what they call Mardi Gras. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering if it was part of that.
Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday, for example.
Oh, and on Valentine's Day too. So
and
work
which
with
is weird. Yeah.
It's
strange that they did it this. It fluctuates a little bit. Mardi Gras date, and that they would do it right. That Ash Wednesday Lent would land on Valentine's Day.
So like Easter, how Easter fluctuates.
Yeah.
Yeah, Easter's earlier this year, it seems like, but yeah.
But yeah, all of New Orleans is shut down accordingly.
I think that has to do with how many Sundays in a month or how many Sundays in a year. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I live far away enough. We don't really shut everything down here, but if you're in New Orleans and anywhere close to surrounding there, it's all closed up right now.
I ain't been to Catholic school in years, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, anyway.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we're glad to have you, Clobby, and we also have with us the one, the only, even though there's 32 flavors of him, Nick Weiser.
Oh, hello, Tom. Hello, panel of dudes, Script, Clobby, Price, CC. Hello, chat, and hello to our wrenches. Yeah, we actually
can I sniff that pretty girl's hair?
Oh, God.
That's not a pretty girl. That's Nick, Mr. President. Get out of here. Jesus.
Yeah. See, the president's such a creep. He needs to not.
He's just looking at you from behind. That's why. Sorry.
Well, that's really weird of him. But anyways, yeah. Hello, chat. Hello to our wrenches as well. It seems like in the last week, 10 days, news is starting to pick up. So I guess now we can buckle and say the year's officially started in terms of pop culture news. So let's talk about our fine bevy of topics tonight.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I wanted to ask Klobby. I just forgot. I think between the last time you're here and now, we actually have it pretty confirmed that Pedro Pascal is going to be Mr. Fantastic. I didn't know if you had any feelings about that.
That's awful.
Not like officially confirmed, but I think it was confirmed by the WGA website or some shit like that. I can't remember. Somebody poked around.
He
and
certainly
found it.
wouldn't
One
be
of-
my.
he's the lead, or he's a principal cast member, right? What, is
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
language? Yeah.
He certainly wouldn't be my first choice, but from what I understand, the quote unquote writer wrote for WandaVision, so the movie's DOA anyway.
No.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's Michael Waldron, right? Or is it?
I don't know. I just heard someone say it was someone with WandaVision. I didn't hear a name.
Okay.
So if that's true, it may not be true. If it's true,
It's DOA.
that's bad. That's
Bobby.
bad. But here's why it's
DOA.
really DOA. If this any Fantastic Four movie not being made and completely controlled by me, is DOA.
I agree with that. Yeah, and also you admit you would not let Pedro Pascal near that thing. You would you'd have to make. You'd
Not
have to make.
I
particularly.
think he'd be all right
anti-Pedro.
actually as Doctor Doom, to be honest with you. I don't think
Maybe
he'd
as
be a bad
actually,
choice.
maybe
Yeah.
as Doom, I may not mind him too much, but he's not. He's no Reed Richards.
bad.
I'm
Doom might
tired
be
of
better,
Pedro
but
He already
Pascal.
not
put it in with the
Reed.
Mandalorian. Might as well do it for Doctor
Yeah,
Doom.
Right?
keep him with the man with his head covered up, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And he seems like he could play that kind of guy, right? That would be
Mm-hmm.
like kind of half full of himself, but then once he gets like scarred slightly, he'd be like,
But
I'm
then at that point, he's
I'm
not
just so
acting.
ugly
he's just
now,
being
you
Pedro
know.
Pascal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing
but-
is I can't stand him as a person, but I actually like him as an actor. And
I think
everything
he's
I've
a good
seen him in,
actor.
it's like
Yeah, I still wouldn't. He wouldn't be my first choice for Doom either. But for Reed, not good.
I even had to give him credit for being the only watchable thing in 1984 in Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
he's
he's
a
a
good
bad
actor.
actor, but I think he's overexposed. I feel like there's like
True.
somebody decided in Hollywood,
Yeah.
wow, he's the best. Every role we'll give him. He's not the best. He's a good actor, but I've seen situations where there's a guy that is the best, but he's not that. You know what I mean? They made him an A-lister, this like top of the line
do agree
A-lister.
with that.
When,
Well,
when I
they're
think
putting him-
he's kind of not an A-lister.
Well, they're pushing him forward, but they're also kind of doing the same thing with Glenn Powell now. He's been in like 4 movies in the last 2 years. He's like the white Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, he is.
But
He's
like he's getting
talented.
oversaturated. And here's the thing: for actors, it's kind of a good thing that they take every job they can, because again, they might not be working in 3 years. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like Hollywood is not very creative when it comes to casting. They get their short list and they just rely on that as much as they can because they think it's bankable. And because we're in the age where a movie star has to compete with all other aspects of the internet, it's a lot harder for them to be a draw by comparison. So we, as the general audience going public, see too many of the same familiar faces and we get kind of sick and tired of it. It's just like with Pedro Pascal. But I will say, like, one of his better performances in the Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Like, he's fantastic in that.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
And you know what? He
But we're
might.
seeing too much of him. Yeah.
He might. He's not the guy I would cast, but he might do a decent job in the role once he got there as Reed Richards. If he's capable of it. I just say again, he
It
would
wouldn't
not
be my first choice
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
But if he was like my only choice, or like if I had like choice between him and 3 other,
What if he's the
actors that-
Thing?
that would be an
boy.
interesting play. But I think I don't
No way.
think they do that because
not.
and actually I think for one, they wouldn't do that because they'll get a Jewish person to play the Thing. They won't do that because that
We can
actually
hope.
will count.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I
No, they
think
didn't even get that right for Moon Knight.
I
They didn't
think
get that right for
I don't
Moon
remember
Knight.
exactly what Feige said, but he had
True.
alluded to something that made people that initially kicked people off on this idea anyway, because he was alluding. I can't remember exactly what he said, but Andres said something about it in a couple of his videos now, where Feige had said something about a Hispanic lead and leaning towards the idea that that's not white anymore, right? Because remember, for a
Right.
while there, that's the big debate is whether or not Latinx or Latino Latin
They could-
actors and actresses were white or not. Yeah.
They could go
Well-
all in and cast him as Susan Storm.
They could. I will say this: nothing says Latin history like the last name of Richards.
They'll just change it to Ricardo.
Oh,
But,
they would too. They would too.
No, wait,
and I
wait.
think
I have
They
to say
would.
something. What they'll do is that he'll be called Reed Richards, but then what'll happen is that he'll tell like Sue or whatever. It'll be like, because of the racism in this country, my father had to change his name. from Ricardo to Richards.
Oh my
Did
god.
they make Johnny Storm?
You
I
know
think
that's going to
Bryce
be in
is
the
right.
movie.
Might be
they
You
it.
know what's
Johnny
funny is
Storm?
like,
Hmm?
go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
I was gonna say, did they make Johnny a adopted brother in Fan Four Stick?
Fid Forstick, yeah.
No, it was
Oh.
Sue
No,
the
it
adopted
was
daughter.
Sue was adopted.
Sue was the adopted
Sue was
brother.
the
Sue was
That's the
adopted,
story,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because that guy who played, was it Luke, I forget the actor's name who played Luke Cage's Pappy or whatever, was also their Storm's father.
And that was
okay.
because the studio insisted on it. And I
Yep.
still stand by that. I bet
And
you it was
Josh
because
Skank, too.
back then they still didn't think that middle America could handle a black woman with a white man. Back
Less than
then.
10 years ago. But yeah,
I know. I think that's what it really was.
well, it was more than 10 years ago. Really.
Because I would have been like, go for it. Make Sue Storm black. But they couldn't. You want to know why? Because she's the invisible woman.
There's
Can you
that.
imagine?
Mm.
Can you imagine? Yeah, I think Script knew exactly where I was headed with that.
Yes, I know exactly what you're heading with that. They should
So,
just. It's
Well,
Hollywood.
they could get Rachel Dolezal to play her.
Hollywood's
Ooh.
arrogant.
She's making the news again. I thought that was a timely joke.
Oh, Lord.
One of the first people to publicly identify as another ethnicity.
That's what I was pointing out in the DM group. I'm like, shit, if she'd have just waited a few years, people would have fucking come out
People
and
would have loved
supported her
her,
instead
yeah.
of canceled her.
But remember, she's
Then-
technically a trailblazer, right?
Well, what's funny is that somebody else in that group, I'm not going to name names, but somebody else in that group who happens not to be white, let's say, said, well, sad part is she did more for the NAACP than any other black woman did.
That's white privilege.
Anyway, that being said, I just wanted to ask Klobby about that because that was something I think happened in between here. And of course, we talked about all the trailers yesterday on the morning show, but I didn't get to get your guys' response to those. So if any of you guys want to, I'll go around the horn real quick. And of the main 4 trailers, if there's anything you want to say about them quick, let's get your responses. Nick, I'm sure you watched like the Deadpool trailer and the Apes trailer and the Fall Guy. And what was the other one? I can't remember now.
I didn't catch Fall Guy. I did catch Twisters.
Twisters, that was the other one. Straight to video looking shit.
Now, I'll tell you what, man. I have no shame in the game. I love the first Twister movie. My girlfriend and I go back to that, and we watch that. It's almost like an annual thing. At best, I think it might be dumb fun. It looks awful. It looks really awful, but we're still gonna see it anyway because I have that hope that it's gonna be dumb fun. And if that's how it is, I will straight up not complain one bit about that. Deadpool trailer, it looked okay. It was cool to see they had the patch version of Wolverine. Obviously, add Pyro in there as well. So now I'm still kind of in like skeptical mode because not just because of your great videos that you've been covering on the main channel about how, even if it's good, it's a fluke because that's 110% accurate. I think there's still some writers on there who are questionable. Well, I haven't looked in a while, but if I recall, there's still some writers who could be not of the ideal nature to be writing a Deadpool story. But that said, though, the trailer at face value looked pretty entertaining, and I hope it's better than the second movie because that second movie was not good at all. So,
Right.
and I actually thought the first one was really entertaining, even though I'm not a Deadpool guy. Like, he's fine, whatever. I've only liked one run that was from Joe Kelly, but I'd like the first movie. It had a lot of heart to it, shockingly, and hopefully I'll see that movie just because people are gonna want me to talk about it. So I'll give the people what they want. I'm trying to think of what our trailers. What other trailers did I catch?
Fall Guy, Twisters, and Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I laughed at the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm like, soon they're at the bedroom of the Planet of the Apes, the bathroom of the Planet of the Apes, the shower of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, the basement of the Planet of the Apes.
Well, we already had Beneath the Planet of the Apes. That's the basement.
This is the one level
above
above
the
that.
Planet of the Apes. The middle of the Planet of the Apes.
Around the Planet of the
Around
Apes.
the planet, before the Planet of the Apes.
Adjunct to it.
It looks like another Apes movie. I honestly, I've not watched the new ones. To me, they've not.
There'll be adjuncts to it.
or D-Bud's comment says it all. of the Planet of the Apes. I mean, that's what we made for Gary to star in.
The back door of the Planet of the Apes. There's probably is a movie already of that. It's got a lot of black men in it. And they're going in a lot of black doors.
That's like what Rule 34 thing.
Yeah.
I saw the Knuckles preview. Knuckles looks entertaining. I thought Knuckles looks good.
Oh yeah, they did show a preview for that.
Yeah, I think Knuckles looks good, and I think that's going to be the perfect precursor to set up what I still think is going to be the runaway Christmas hit with Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So it's a good way to get the crowd buttered up.
Knuckles actually looked better than the first Sonic movie. I'll say it.
Yeah,
I'm probably wrong, but just the trailer made me laugh. I think more times than the actual Sonic movie did.
No, I like the trailer.
one.
I thought that the Knuckles trailer was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoy Sonic 1 and I enjoyed Sonic 2 even more. And the Knuckles trailer looks like it's gonna be on par, at least with the second movie. So I'm happy about it. It'll be nice to bring the family on and enjoy some fun. And one of my young ones, she likes those characters, so it'll be cool.
Awesome. All right, Clobby, what did you think? Any of the trailers stand out to you?
Was that a new Fall Guy trailer? I didn't saw the older one, but
yeah, I think they had a new one. The new one looked a lot of fun. It was kind of funny. But
yeah, I hear Lee Majors is going to do a cameo on that thing, which is weird, but okay, because it didn't even seem that connected to the old show, but I guess it is. Deadpool. It's like Nicholas said, it looks like it might have a chance to be kind of okay or fun, but I'm not the biggest Deadpool guy there is. I think the movies are okay. I don't care about the comics. So yeah, I'll go see that one, but I'm not really that excited about it. I'm a huge fan of the original Planet of the Apes films. Don't like these new ones too much. I hate the Tim Burton remake. Thought Rise was kind of okay, but after that, I didn't like any of these last one much. So I'm not going to be seeing that. That trailer did nothing for me. And what other trailer was there? I don't know if there was any other one that I saw. No, there's one more, wasn't there?
There was Twisters. There was
the
Apes. There was.
I hated the original Twisters film, so I'm no interest in there. And I think it was a Sonic one, right? I hope Sonic.
No, the Knuckles one we were just talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope the fans of that stuff look promising.
Oh, there was the Wicked trailer too. Totally.
Oh God, yeah, I saw that one. Awful. Looks absolutely terrible, like all these stupid origin movies to Disney villains. Ugh. Oh,
well, this is actually ground zero for that, but yeah, they went overboard. I think.
Yeah, it's based on a play, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they make the Wicked Witch a black woman now, and she's like the only black woman in the movie.
God.
So that's not on the
nose. A black green woman.
Now she's green. Well, that's the whole thing. Is there already is kind of like an underlying racism story in the original play. Now they're really going to amp it up. I bet.
Green face.
Yeah,
I'm ashamed. No, actually, not ashamed. I think I'm happy to say I've never even watched the original play.
I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it. But yeah,
is this?
Like this was.
Is it like a prequel to The Wizard of Oz? What's it supposed to be?
Yes. Like basically, it's where all those like Maleficents and all that kind of stuff came from. That they basically aped the idea from this. They even had the Great and Powerful Oz, which was almost kind of a loose, sort of kind of version of it in a weird way. Yeah.
They got away with one movie with the original, with the original classic. That movie is good. And I'll put up with a Wiz because I like Michael Jackson. But aside from that, you can take this whole Wizard of Oz and all these prequels and all this stuff, find like a dustbin and put them all in there as far as I'm concerned.
It's funny you say that because as I pointed out yesterday morning, there's been only one other Wizard of Oz movie that's done any box office other than the first one, and that was The Wiz. Otherwise, every other spin-off, sequel-esque, whatever you want to put out there of Wizard of Oz has bombed.
Yeah, even the Tin Man one with what's
that
her
series,
name? I can't remember her name, but she was in the New Girl or whatever. Yeah, nobody paid attention to that. And it was heavily marketed.
And yes, I get it. Return to Oz has a cult following now, but it bombed at the box office at the time.
Oh yeah. people
In fact, it scared the shit out of kids when it came out. But yeah.
exactly because they're like, this doesn't look like the Wizard of Oz that they grew up with, and
It's
it's like,
closer
no,
to
this
the
is
books, though.
actually more of a
It
faithful
is.
adaptation to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
weird, wacky shit in the books.
Oh yeah, yeah. L. Frank Baum books are not like the movie.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. And then as we brought up the apes, stuff like that. CC, anything stick out to you at all?
Well, I mean, both Ryan Reynolds movies, honestly. I've been low on Deadpool 3, and that may be in part because I don't trust Disney, but there's also been some red flags for me. Casting Emma Corrin as the villain, maybe them will do a good job, but in this day and age, you always have to get a little bit concerned when that happens. And then the trailer comes out, and it's a sequel to Loki, and it's like, okay, you're teasing like you're gonna end the MCU, like, you know, your Marvel Jesus, but then Agatha is coming out after this movie, and it's like, you're not, like, the MCU is gonna continue on unless you cancel those series, or you really like just say, well, we're just gonna put those out because we have to. I don't have a trust that this is actually going to change directions so dramatically. It'll just be a one-off kind of movie that does its own branch of the timeline. Maybe in this movie they'll end the MCU, but then that story thread will completely end. In which case, why waste the potential of the movie on the TVA? Why not just make it completely its own thing?
Yeah.
You know, it's
I mean,
like
they're not gonna
undermining
make
yourself.
they're not gonna make their own thing. Here's my hazard about this: is not even the fact that this movie could even turn out bad. I actually think it might even turn out fine. I think the issue is it's gonna be that fluke where it'll do well, but it could also help fund the other movies that will definitely absolutely bomb. Because they want something to try to balance out the credit. Obviously, it won't balance out fully, but obviously they're thinking, okay, well, if we have something to make up for it, we will take it. So Deadpool 3 was supposed to never happen. That's the thing a lot of people forget, especially once the merger happened. This is a last resort movie. This is a act of desperation, a last ditch effort. Now, I do like the marketing of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. It's cool to see that bromance happening. It's very fun and funny. I like the duality of it all. So it's entertaining. And I just hope it does end up being a thing where the marketing is better than the movie itself, because they have potential for something good here. They do have potential. It's just, will they blow it or not? And also, Wolverine put on a mask, a proper mask.
I just want to add, by
gonna happen.
contrast, the other Ryan Reynolds movie, If, is actually giving me really good vibes. You're talking about it being a passion project, but how they want it to be in the vein of classic Pixar. It looks like they like that's something they had a lot of fun doing. I don't know if it's going to go under the radar with audiences or not, but I got a feeling that movie might actually be really good.
It reminded me a lot of, or at least from what it looks like, it reminds me a lot of Drop Dead Fred, which failed. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Deadpool. Price, anything stuck out to you other than Deadpool, or you say anything you want about any of the other trailers, or Deadpool for that matter?
Okay, so the Deadpool one, and I think we were in some group or something, we were discussing this. The fact that you see that TV Time Authority, the TVA, whatever it is, that's an issue. Only if he's there making fun of it. If they're only showing it because it's sort of a gag or a joke that he's making fun of it, then maybe it could be okay. I think it really matters how much freedom they've given Ryan Reynolds, and if he's even in good form and on top of his game. Because if he's in a good form and they've just told him, do whatever you want, we're desperate, just do whatever you want, maybe this movie can be okay. But again, like other people have said here, I don't see this making a big change in the overall picture. It's just there might be one movie that'll just be an anomaly that people, for whatever nostalgic reasons, will want to go see it and think it's cool, but it's not something that you can establish really another generation of characters that everybody's going to be excited about. It's more legacy stuff. And regarding the other things, the Fall Guy seemed just like it didn't even say what the trailer really was about. It just threw a bunch of like words at you and was trying to pump you up. But when you're looking at it, it's nothing. It's like, listen, we have Ryan Gosling, we have Emily Blunt. You like those guys? Here's the movie. And that was the trailer. You don't know anything else. Maybe that's okay for some people. It didn't give me any feeling one way or another. The Apes one, all those trailers of the Apes at this point look the same to me. You could have told me it's the previous one, slapped the same name on it, and I probably wouldn't have noticed. I mean, I don't hate it. There's some apes talking. It's all right, I guess, but I didn't see anything stand out about it. Knuckles, I thought, was good. And what was the final one? Twister? See, it seemed rather generic, but I mean, it seems like a popcorn flick that if I saw it in the theater, probably wouldn't be bad. I'm sure it's not going to be the best thing ever, but the first one wasn't the best thing ever either. It's a movie that you kind of turn off your brain. There's some tornadoes, and then you just look at things get destroyed. And if you're into that, I think this movie will deliver it.
I don't know. My problem with Twisters was it felt like a cheap, generic, straight-to-video sequel to a movie too long after the fact. I know it's like supposed to be like they don't even really specify exactly what it is on the IMDb. I don't know if you're aware of what this is script, if you've come across it at all. Because I heard rumors early on that Helen Hunt is supposed to have a cameo in it as her character. But it is supposed to be like a rebootable, loosely set in the same universe. It's a sequel, but it's more of a remake at the same time kind of thing.
So they don't know what they are. Kind of like when Zack Snyder made Man of Steel.
I think you're all missing something. They say they forgot to subtitle it, but they decided it's going to be the same exact script from Jaws: The Revenge. The Twister is back, and the Twister is pissed off about and still
this
very
time,
angry with Helen.
It's personal.
Yes, it's angry with Helen Hunt, and it's coming back and chasing her and killing her family and all that stuff.
I knew you'd find me after all these years.
A pair of Twisters are upset that Helen Hunt killed their mother, so now they're after revenge for Helen Hunt's characters. Here is Barry Bostwick Jr. I mean Glenn Powell, playing the lead in
Twisters: The Revenge.
Or she's in like the first 5 minutes of the movie and dies, or something like that. Or they do that to Bill Paxton's character, just like in Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of these characters is related to them somehow as well. I know it's a sequel. It's like you can't tell me it's not. It's the same exact fucking font.
They killed its mommy Twister. They killed its mommy Twister.
Yeah, I know. You're right. And not only that, it's by Amblin and Universal and Warner Brothers, the same exact companies that made the original one. So it's the same thing. It's just, what is it? Is it a remake? Is it a sequel? I don't know. But it felt like a straight-to-video piece of shit from the trailer. I'm not a huge fan of the original, but still.
It didn't really elicit intrigue. That's the problem.
And Helen Hunt is overrated. I just have to say it.
Yeah, but they didn't even show her in the trailer. So like that's to me where I think a lot of people are like confused where if she even is in the movie. This is a rumor I had heard a while back, mind you.
But I'm saying she's not even much of a draw. Even if you tell me, listen, I hope you're sitting down for this. Helen Hunt's going to be in this movie. That doesn't impact me wanting to see it one way or another. I'd rather see it if there's tornadoes and they destroy things.
Oh, no, that's fair.
That actually sounds more appealing than Helen Hunt.
That's fair, but there's a lot of people, and this is like one of the main questions I've gotten as a pundit in the last 2-3 days. Is this a sequel or is this a spinoff? What is this? And people don't know. Because a lot of people are like, oh no, it's not related. It's like, oh yes, it is. It clearly is.
I bet you when they made this movie, they didn't know what the hell was gonna be. They just decided we'll figure it out as we go along.
Well,
I don't know, Nick. I think it was meant to be more like a Jurassic World kind of thing. It just, maybe.
Well,
anyway, you're going to say, Clobby?
I was going to say, I did read where the Twister from the original film has a cameo in this one. He's not playing the main Twister. But
so there's one non-CGI Twister in the movie, and that's it?
Yes, he plays a cameo.
I'm kidding. Wow. I think they were CGI in the original, too. That was the whole thing.
Because he hasn't found a lot of work since that last one,
No, yeah.
It's tough for a Twister to find, roles and stuff.
Well, I heard he was in Wisconsin the other day.
Well, they were typecast.
Which is weird for this time of the year, but...
Yeah, that's true. But they get typecast, They can only play other Twisters. It's weird.
You know what? The fact that they added the S at the end, they may have just done that really late in the game for marketing. They just say, listen, why don't we put an S? People will think, oh, it's the sequel.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
That's like Alien and then Alien and then Aliens, right? So
But the
Twister.
problem you have here is the first movie came out in like 1995. Like,
yeah, you're right. I'd rather see an aliens take on twisters. Like there's a queen twister out there.
A bunch of
and it's just
twisters.
spawning other twisters in the region. Because that would be at least clever.
The
and
sad part
shocking.
is Klobby, I think, is joking, obviously, but he might not be, because that's kind of what these movies are about, is they create this machine or whatever that's supposed to neutralize these twisters.
But it
So
makes
there may well be twisters that are out for revenge because they killed their mama.
I'd watch that.
And it'll turn out that Pedro Pascal is like the chief twister man. He creates the twisters.
I heard he was cast.
Oh, there's got to be some scientist behind
Cameo.
it all. Exactly. Like, these twisters aren't normal twisters. These twisters are man killers.
Evil
They go
twisters.
after people. You know, it's
They
like
suck and blow.
they're programmed.
And the also too Twister, the Twister. He's gonna
Queen
win a-
Twister. They're all following the queen. If we take out the queen Twister, we take out the rest.
No, I say we nuke the Twisters,
Dracula
from
rule.
orbit.
Nuke them
them
from
from
orbit.
orbit.
That's the only way to be sure.
Sure. Let go of her, you Twister, bitch. Oh, get away from her.
Stay away from her.
Stay
you
away from her, you
bitch.
Twister,
You're so
bitch.
twisted. Oh shit. Yeah, Fall Guy, look. I admit, like, this trailer they showed didn't really give us much of the story, but what it did give me the feeling of is this is going to be a movie that guys like. At least I hope so. Like, it feels like a guy's movie.
Neither trailer tell you one important thing, though. If it's based on the TV show, which a lot of people won't know, remember, he's a stunt man who has a lot of trouble getting work, so he moonlights as a bounty hunter on the TV show.
Mhm.
I'm guessing he was doing bounty hunting stuff in the trailer, but I don't know if that's the plot or not because it doesn't tell you. I think so.
The first trailer I saw, it seemed like he was being hired by something else, by like an agency to do something because he's a stunt guy. And
Something
I
with-
don't
yeah.
know if that feels authentic to the character, because you're right. Lee
Yeah,
Majors
bounty hunter stuff. Yeah.
was bounty hunting because work was few and far between.
Yeah. And this is like him first getting started doing that, I guess.
That's what I kind of felt like. And then what I loved was the camaraderie between Ryan Gosling and the other guy. I can't remember his name. Because that reminded me of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I think that's kind of where this is coming from. It's
Was
gonna
that
be
guy
about-
going to be his nephew Howie, like on the TV show?
maybe, or the guy he's stunting for? I don't remember which, but yeah, or they're both working as stuntmen. I don't know. I because you're right. Like, this trailer was a lot of wham bam slam fast stuff at you, but I think that's why it was did it on purpose. It's a lot of laughs, a lot of guy stuff, a lot of explosions.
You think
You
Ryan
know.
Gosling's going to sing the theme song like Lee Majors did? I'm not the kind of kiss and tell.
I
but I've been
wonder,
seen with Farrah.
because that's the thing. You're right. Like, as far as like the gimmick of the theme song, you know, you update it, or what do you do? I
It
mean,
was catchy but embarrassing.
yeah, I mean, but not just that. It's like all the people that are in it, half of them are dead.
Yeah, Monkey Post, God bless her. Well, she wasn't in the first couple seasons. Actually, first it was
Ain't no way he's gonna be stunt
Go ahead,
doubling
Blue.
for Clint.
Yep. Yep. I'm gotten burned over. Well, it's blown up. So anyway, yeah, it was.
I think it'll be kind of along the Equalizer lines with Denzel, only just more funny than action oriented.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Makes sense.
very inspired by the original show, but not exactly the original show.
His name's gonna be Coat Slavers. He's gonna have the truck and everything.
You never know; he might sing the song in it. You could be right.
I hope he sings the song I've been singing with Farrah. It's too hard, my body else to pay. But hey, I'm sad.
I will say this:
I'm
I
the
think that
guy
a lot
that
of these
made
trailers didn't seem agenda driven. Meaning, it's not that I could be wrong, but when I looked at Fall Guy, it didn't look. It looked like just a silly, fun movie, maybe if they do it right. But I didn't see a bunch of things that jumped out that made it seem like it would be overly agenda.
Yeah.
No,
Even
the
the-
opposite. Like I was saying, Price, it felt like it was actually trying to say, "Hey guys, come look at this. This is going to be for you." Because, like, yeah, that's what it felt like. That's why I got kind of.
Even Twister, if you think about it, I mean, that Glenn Powell guy, maybe he's a little overexposed now, but he's kind of just a kind of cocky, arrogant white guy type of guy. Which for a while I didn't see a lot of movies that you see a commercial that there's even a character like this.
Well, I
That's
just
a
hope
good
they have.
point.
I just hope they have diverse twisters, not all just white
The
twisters.
twisters will be very diverse.
Yeah, I don't want to be white twisters.
Not enough Asian twisters.
a very inclusive tornado. That's for everybody. These
right, well,
tornadoes have always been for everybody.
Let's see what the audience has to say about this. We got Goddess and Women in the house who sends in $5. How you doing, Goddess? Says, I'm so excited for Deadpool and Wolverine. It looks like Deadpool unalives the MCU, takes out all the bad and keeps the good. Watched it 5 times. The only thing, though, Goddess, they are never going to admit that the MCU is actually a problem, because then that would them be actually admitting that they did bad, and they won't. They'll tease it, but
I fear that the TVA is going to be the antagonist throughout the entire movie, and that's probably going to center the jokes. Because that's the plot device that allows him to travel from different universe and franchise, right? So,
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. And that's you bring up a great point there, Script. Like, are they gonna let Ryan Reynolds go all the way joking about the direction that they've gone and with everything, with how confusing? Because even if you take out the stuff involving the message, there's still a whole other wave of problems. There's the weak storytelling, the lack of coherency. We don't know who's on the Avengers. We don't know. There's no direction. There's no key players. There's so much stuff. Like this would be the easiest time for Ryan Reynolds to have jokes galore to knock on what the MCU has become. He should, in an ideal world, have a field day with this movie where we would all be laughing for days on end. But
I would love to see them do a reference where they dig up J.D. Salinger's kid who played the original Captain America in '89.
I'd love it.
I hope I'm wrong about this movie, but yeah, as soon as I saw the TVA, it gave me a great pause.
Because I'm like, we did the time travel stuff in the previous movie, so are they going to link that plot in? I mean, it's.
I'm sure.
The thing is, it's like.
But it's not the same Deadpool. That's the other thing. This is a Deadpool from a different universe. And Andre and I both pointed that out yesterday. And we're like, so what are they doing here with this? Something, I feel like we're being sold a different bill of goods than what we're going to be getting, I think. And why are they hiding Wolverine so much? Everybody knows he's in it.
I think it's just the way get you. They're trying to get excited.
Then my fear now is he's not in it as much as we were hoping.
Bobby,
it's the first preview. Yeah. Wait till the second preview. They'll probably go nuts showing him.
If I'm right and he doesn't show up till the third act, that's gonna piss a lot of people.
Well, the movie's called. I'm Grant. I know
so
we're
what?
in the day and age of bait, but yeah, if the movie is called Deadpool and Wolverine and they're bringing Wolverine to the third, honestly, I mean, I don't think it's gonna go that direction. I truly believe he's just in the movie. They just didn't want to show him off for the trailer much. They were trying to tease people since it was the first trailer, not the second. Watch the second trailer, they're gonna go all in on Wolverine.
You're probably right, but at the end of the day, I'm almost more upset that we saw so much of the movie, because I'm so used to the first two campaigns being Ryan Reynolds basically doing the Hitchcock thing, right?
Yes.
And this time out, it's like, okay.
I don't think Disney would have wanted Ryan Reynolds to do that. That's probably the case.
Another kind of problem, though, because if Disney has that kind of impact on him, it means he can't go all out.
Yes, that's a big concern.
The pegging line even had me worried, because they're like, that's new for Disney. It's like, is it?
Yeah.
They've been pegging us for years. No, but for the fans' sake, I hope it's good, Goddess.
That line is still, even then, that line is still tame compared to other stuff with Deadpool. I don't see that. I see this being a very restrained version of, if they take shots at their own MCU and what it's become, it's gonna be very held back, very held back.
And that's not going to help the movie. They have to go all in on it.
Movies.
If it's neutered, it's like,
we'll have to see. But I hope I'm wrong. And then on that note, So Lazy sends in $10. That's not so lazy. It says the second DP movie was bogged down by too many storylines. I agree that did not properly merge, and Fox pushing for an X-Force team up. Third will suffer the same fate with Disney forcing the TVA. Well, not only that, the second film, actually, Ryan Reynolds had a little bit more leeway than he did the first time out, because Tim Miller and him, I guess, parted ways, and then he got brought in a new team to work on it. And now this time he's working with the team that he's worked on Free Guy and that Christmas movie, I think, that he worked on. Sean Levy basically is the director, and so it's their team. So we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it's decent. But he says the third will suffer the same fate with Disney forcing TBA. Yeah, I think that's going to be a problem. I think at first I was hoping it was going to be like he kills the MCU, but like I know they're not going to let him do that. So I was like thinking maybe it would be better if it was just a button for the Foxmen, and since they're going beyond that, that's what has me.
Yeah,
worried.
they're not killing the MCU, they're killing the Fox stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably what it's going to really
Their
be.
version of Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, but with the Foxmen universe. Yeah, that's why I had a feeling this is what it's going to be, which is not the worst idea ever. It's a very Deadpool centric idea, and it's a good twist on the story.
It's like, Wade, do you really want to be part of the MCU? Yes, sir, I do. I want to be Marvel Jesus. Then go kill the old MCU that Fox started years ago. And it's like,
it's almost like the equivalent
gimmick, but it just is got that groanage factor because of what he's trying to achieve. Like, he wants to be part of the Disney family.
He's trying to achieve what happens when every WCW wrestler who tries to go to WWF after the company went out of business. If you go there, you're just gonna get crapped on because you only went to the competition later. So unless you came to the competition before it went under, this is that. And every time someone comes in that came to the competition after, they all get dunked on and the legacy gets smeared on for the people who love WCW. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to smear the legacy for those who did like that universe. I'll admit, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Foxman universe, but it did have some. I had some moments I enjoyed. I love First Class. I thought First Class was the best thing out of that universe. I really enjoyed that movie, and shame on me for not seeing it in theaters. And of course, I grew up. I was a teenager when X2 came out, and I did have teenage nostalgia for it, even though it doesn't compare to God Loves, Man Kills, but that's a whole.
No, but it's still the best X-Men movie besides Logan that we probably have, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Maybe Days of Future Past, but other than that, those are probably the best three we got. But anyway, E. Clay Thomason sends in a $2 super chat and says, "Will the new Quiet Place movie be any good? Did they have a trailer for that? I still haven't seen the first two. I think this was supposed to be a prequel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a prequel. I know that a lot of people like them. Horror fans really like those movies.
No, it does have a huge fan base, but I mean, I could never get over the premise, which is that if loud noise kills them, how did they take over so much? Because again, that's your weapon against them.
Cities are super loud, yeah.
I saw the first Quiet Place, and I thought to myself, as sort of a gimmick, it's interesting. It was all right as a movie, but it felt more like a kind of movie that you see one of those, and then you don't need to see any more of them. So when there was a sequel and a prequel, this is just some weird money grab. I mean, if you say there's an audience of people that follow this thing and like it, I think it's weird, but good for them. I think that beyond that first movie, that's the most interest they're going to get out of me. Like, I feel like there's nothing more to say about it. It's quiet. Yeah. They have to be quiet. I get it. There's a few monsters. Let's move on,
Sure.
I liked it better when it was called Tremors.
Tremors is better.
Love Tremors.
That's what I thought when I heard people tell me about it. But like Script said, it does have an audience. People do like it. But horror is that way. There's a lot
never dies.
less of, there's a less of a threshold or whatever I want to say to the fan.
Even when they bomb,
the threshold for quality is greatly diminished.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah.
Sorry,
you
Nick,
can have 10 movies with the same exact premise.
Good. Yeah, I was just trying to say, even when the movies don't do as well, they're still very profitable. So, and that audience is still willing to give 800 sequels of that genre a shot because they're that dedicated, for better and worse.
Even if the last one was garbage, just they come in with the
whole
maybe this time it'll be better.
I gotta give them credit. I do respect their optimism, even though I couldn't go that far. I do respect it to a degree.
They are one of the few franchises where even if you have a bad one, like the box office can still stay the same or go up in some cases.
Yeah.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street's a great example of that. Friday the 13th still a great example of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like after the worst of their franchises, they had a better film afterwards and the box office went up and up and up.
Yep.
I think the first maybe 4 Nightmare on Elm Streets were good, 5 wobbling, and then there was some I don't know what
That's pretty
6.
much the box office. 2 almost killed it though, right? Like the reception to 2 was very lukewarm to bad. And they quickly said, "Look, we need to come up with some rules and da 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 da." Da. The third film was huge. The fourth film did even better because of the third film being so good.
Well, the
And
third one they
so on,
brought
but
back Nancy and John Saxon, I think, which
yep,
already
that helped.
you're watching a true sequel to the original, which is what people I think really wanted, and
And
that's
Friday
what
the
built the
13th,
goodwill
they
for 4.
learned, yeah, they learned pretty quick after part 4 that if we don't have Jason in these things in part 5, people are not going to be happy. But then part 6 came right on the heels of that and did very well. So
Although the
anyway,
way that they revived Jason by I think a dog pissing on his grave or something, I don't what was it? There was a
no, that was
lightning.
Freddy. That was part
Oh,
4.
sorry,
Yeah,
that was
he pissed.
Freddy. No, sorry, lightning struck. The lightning struck the body of Jason.
Yeah, he's basically a zombie or whatever. After
Right,
that.
right. Sorry, that was lightning, and then Jason was the dog pissing. Both of them was those were kind of dumb, to be honest.
Eh, I didn't mind Jason Lives. It's like, fuck it. Just got to get him alive again.
Right.
Like,
And
what else is he going to do?
They changed the Tommy actor. Why couldn't they bring Corey Feldman back? I mean,
Oh, he was supposed to be in the fifth one. He's in the first part, but then he had to shoot Goonies. So it was either do that or Goonies. And he chose Goonies. So they took the opportunity to age the character up. And then once they were aged the character up, well, then at that
he
point,
looks nothing like him. I don't remember even
Yeah.
which actor plays the older guy. He seems so forgettable. I can't even remember who it is.
Tom Matthews is the more famous one from part 6. The one from part 5 is one most people don't remember, and I can't even remember that kid's name in that one.
So they changed
Feldman,
like 7 times. They changed the guy.
yeah, but Feldman's been screaming he wants to come back and kill Jason anyway. So, and the sad part is he's so fucking crazy. He probably thinks Jason's real. Corey Feldman's a nut bar. I love the guy, but he's a fucking nut bar. And he's the most delusional, self-centered fucking actor I've ever seen in my life. And if I told you guys some of the shit, yeah, I'm not even gonna get into in this show. Like, no, like with the whole like his exposure bullshit.
Oh, I know.
That was weird.
No, there's some deeper stuff to that to where it's like maybe that was more of an obfuscation of what the real truth was. But anyway, Truth, Hope, Love, speaking of truth, sends in 10 and says, so about Disney losing the family market, would it be accurate or insane to say that the family market is now in the hands of the Illumination, the Minion guy? Yeah, pretty much. Family market trusts Universal and the Minions and all that stuff a hell of a lot more than they trust Disney. I think Kung Fu Panda 4 and the Minions movie this year, the Despicable Me, what is it, 4 or 5, whatever the hell they're on now? Whatever, those 2 movies will do much better than the last few Disney movies or the next few Disney movies will do.
Despicable Me will make a lot of money, and Illumination, DreamWorks, all them, they're doing pretty well for themselves, and they're going to continue to get better. Between that and Sonic, yeah, Pixar is in serious competition mode with these studios, which was unimaginable 5 years ago, but now here they are, and they are nowhere near.
Does anybody really like those Minions though? I guess it's for kids or something.
I love them.
I look at it; it just looks like dumb crap to me. I'm sorry, I don't hate
cute,
me,
I've watched them; they're entertaining. I mean,
kids just dig them; they love them.
Kids love packaged popcorn, like the packing popcorn or the
Yes.
styrofoam stuff, and that's what a Minion looks like, just with an eye.
Colorful, and they make weird noises, and they go.
A great way to kill 90 minutes. A great way to kill 90 minutes. That's what, but it's gonna do gangbusters. That Despicable
For
Me
sure.
movie, it's gonna be huge, straight up billion huge.
But I like Super Mario. I like Sonic. Those movies that like are movies that I can enjoy. The Minions one, I feel like somehow they pulled a fast one with that whole franchise.
They direct it towards the audience that loves it, dude. Like the Despicable Me movies are a bit more for the adult part. Like you got, Steve Carell and all that kind of stuff, storyline going on. But the Minion stuff, from my understanding, which I haven't watched at all, the flat out Minion movies, those seem to be directed more so towards the younger kids, from my understanding. So, but they are like prequels or whatever to the ones I think. But I don't know. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But oh yeah, they'll do well because kids love them. And not only that, Universal does not go after people for using Minions like Disney does for using their characters. I don't know if you're aware of this. In fact, they've been known to send out packages to like daycare centers and stuff like that, so they can actually use minions in like their signs and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, so they're very cool with that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, like I think they have the old the same type of model that Paramount had back in the day for Star Trek, where if you wanted to you incorporate Star Trek stuff on your signs or stuff, so long as it wasn't violating their terms, you could. It was just a quick letter or email or phone call and get an easy pass. And I think that's a smarter way to go, especially for something like kids, because you know we had that controversy a few years back with the Spider-Man on a child's tombstone that Disney really didn't
Yeah.
like.
Well, that's where I learned all this stuff, and I actually read several stories where, in many times unprompted, Universal would do this because you would think, oh, you're going to get sued, and I'm sure maybe they would find out about it because some Karen would write into Universal to let them know, oh, by the way, there's a daycare center using minions on their sign. Well, then these daycare centers all of a sudden would get a bunch of minion stuff sent to them.
Yeah.
like regalia, for like big standees and things for their
Merch,
signs and merch and all that
some
stuff. Yeah, for the kids.
bed sheets. I think for some of the daycares that had the nap time stuff, they'd probably get minion bed sheets, any type of thing, because it just
Probably all that kind of
advertises
stuff. Yeah.
the brand for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they won't go after me even if they use them in like their own advertising and stuff like that, as opposed to Disney, where that was the thing. Is I remember they sued a bunch of daycare centers back in the 90s for showing Disney movies. Because that's what that FBI warning, that's what public exhibition is, according to them. And I'm sitting here going, well, what about all the bars that are actually technically breaking the law by showing football games and basketball games and stuff
The
like that?
pay-per-view stuff. Yeah, yeah.
And it's on cable even. It's the same thing. It's technically, yeah.
Mhm.
But the cable companies and the bars have a simpatico relationship, so they don't fuck with each other, right? So that's why they deal with that. Like, so it's like, yeah, but technically it's breaking the law, but they ain't gonna sue them because it's bad business, like Script's saying. Like, and that's where Disney doesn't get it. It's like, yes, is it is there a gray area there where it's copyright infringement? Absolutely, but you got to pick your battles with these things. And Universal's looking at it like, why would we sue these when we could just make them allies and free advertising for us?
Oh,
Right?
exactly. It's like, oh, daycare. What if the kid never heard of minions before? Well, we better put some minion merch in there so that they'll ask their parents about it, buy our stuff. It's vertical integration. It's normal things. In fact, I don't know about this for the U.S. companies, but I know for Bell Media, when it comes to their cable service packages for businesses, they actually have one that allows them to showcase pay-per-view stuff at their place of
Right.
business, like a bar and restaurant, without violation. It's part of the terms and conditions. I would imagine the same thing would be for Spectrum, Comcast, and Verizon, and all those other Dish Network.
Well, what it
even.
boils down to, from my understanding, because my dad's worked for a bunch of bars and stuff, but it's like technically, like every TV they have, they're supposed to pay for an extra. It's kind of like with a hotel room, like hotels, right? They have to pay per each hotel room or whatever. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, but they don't enforce it because it would be bad business to go after all these bars, basically. Like, like it just make absolutely no fucking sense. But yeah, you're right. There's enough loopholes that it's dumb anyway. So, Sean Carter, it's the same thing. Like if a TV's playing in public, it doesn't matter. Sean Carter sends in $5. Says in this movie, instead of cow flying by, it'll be Lizzo, but she'll only be a couple inches off the ground. The cow didn't bother me. It was the damn tractor. I'm like, that tractor weighs twice as much as that truck. Why are they still on the ground? That's what took me out of that first movie. The cow made me laugh. The truck staying on the ground after a tractor flies by, I'm like, okay, now you're gone too far. There's no way they would still be on the ground. That's not how the force works. I've seen the damage of tornadoes. I've been not close, but close enough to see what they can do. There's no way. Nah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, no. They're definitely not something I would fuck with either. But yeah, that would be interesting if Lizzo was in the movie. Josh Hammond's birthday is today. I did sing happy birthday to him last night on the or Bat Tom did, I should say. But I think maybe we can do it again.
Happy birthday.
I'm awake. I was working. What is it, birthday thing? Oh, yeah. Where's the hairy guy? He's supposed to pay me on retainer. You better give me my $20 even if he's not here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Insert kid's name here. Happy birthday to you and many, many, many more. You know what, kid? Enjoy it while you can. It's gotta suck having a birthday so close to Valentine's Day. You only get one blowjob a year now. That sucks. Anyway, I gotta go back to fighting crime. See ya.
That was good. That was good, Bat Tom. I was gonna say Tom, but then I realized, I guess say Bat Tom.
Yeah,
Did you
Tom,
see they changed?
Oh no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was gonna say I think Lizzo is actually in that movie because it's like they brought her to fight the Twister because the Twister can't lift her. It's gonna be it's gonna
Like
be a tough fight.
Godzilla?
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, she's a Twister fighter. Twister can't.
That's a.
I wanna
man,
see
who's
that
gonna
movie
win,
now.
Lizzo or the Twister?
The
Ooh,
Twister's
boy.
a
powers
rocky
can't
fight.
work.
Which
Can't
one will
work
win?
against her. The Twister can't really lift her, so I mean it's a pretty even fight.
That's why they need two.
This is
Yeah,
how we
probably.
anchor the Twister so we can get people evacuated safely. We throw a
Twisters.
Lizzo in there.
Right.
She's fighting for us.
Oh, that's evil.
But happy birthday, Josh. And then we've got, let's see here. We got Carnell, who sends in $5 and says it was reported last year discussing the synopsis of Twisters will undoubtedly contain climate change, global warming alarmists in the story. Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. And actually, I hinted that this is where Hollywood was
that makes
headed
sense.
because they ran out of the money in the D
But yeah.
in the I, but now they're going for the E money. So, yeah.
There you go.
But
You mean
we've
like
been
the
here.
ESG, right?
Yeah, the diversity and inclusion, the
ESG, the
or
environmental.
ESG. You're right. Yeah. Social and government. Yeah,
Governance.
they already
They
ate
did
up the S
social
and the G
government.
money. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I knew that was what you were saying because I'm like, wait a minute, DEI is the other part. DEI is the stuff that they would use to apply to the ESGs.
You're correct. Yeah, they ate up the social money. They ate up all the BLM and all the LGBTQ money and the government money already. Now they're moving on to the environmental groups again. But this is just like they did back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I can handle this. We've had these movies already. They were called like 2012 and
Day After Tomorrow.
The Day After Tomorrow. And yeah, it's like, okay, fine. I can deal with that.
We can laugh at those ones a lot easier without the cringe factor because
the beauty of it is you find out Waterworld is like, this is a warning against global warming. And then you find out, yeah, actually, if that actually happens,
if the
levels wouldn't go that high.
only go in like a couple of feet.
Yeah, we'd lose, maybe a few miles of the coast.
We'd lose New York,
Yeah. But then the joke of that is like, yeah, exactly. Like, and then 2012, well, we're still here, aren't we?
John Cusack, you were wrong.
That's not the first time.
He's always wrong.
But yeah,
See,
Carnell, I'm not surprised.
That movie was about the planet trying to kill John Cusack, not everybody else.
The planet knew already back then.
Yes. It could have been called Earth versus John Cusack.
You know what's sad is when he blocked me, I had to go and find out that motherfucker must be so crazy that not even the wokey wokes want to work with him anymore.
Oh, yeah, he's a nut job. He's crazy.
He hasn't done jack shit in the last few years.
That
shit left town.
Saying a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Woo! Joan's done more in the last few years than he has.
Yeah, it is horrible. Like, yeah, she's actually still a working actress. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
With voice work and everything else. But like, no, he like fell off the map after the Hot Tub Time Machine movies. Like the last big thing he did. It's like
maybe
there was one or two other
political.
appearances.
He's become
that's what I think happened.
He's always been political. Always. Even in the 90s, he was saying stupid shit.
Right, but the climate changed. People started noticing more, and I feel like even the most agenda-friendly people in Hollywood, some of the stuff that this guy tweets is so excessive that even they are like, well,
that's what I mean. Yep.
Maybe this is too. Imagine that even they're like, well, maybe this is too much.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, just gone way, 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 even past where woke is like, no, dude.
It's become. He seems like he has like a mental disorder at this point, and
yes,
I wouldn't want to.
He's probably impossible to work with too. I bet.
Oh, I'm sure he is. He seems like the type that, for all his talents he has, he definitely reeks of hard to work with in the worst.
He's probably like
possible
working with
way.
Dustin Hoffman and Edward Norton, but with TDS.
Oh, and those two have it too. So that's man. Whew.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Well, just Dustin Hoffman is notorious. Like, if you've ever seen the movie Tootsie, like I guess in the beginning of the movie, that's exactly what it is like to work with Dustin Hoffman. From what people have said.
He's a good actor.
Yeah,
though.
I've heard that about Dustin.
Oh yeah,
Hoffman.
he's very serious about. He's too serious. Like that's the problem.
And as for John, I think that earlier in his career, he had some movies that he was all right in. I didn't mind growing up seeing some of the movies he was in, but I don't know. I don't think that his acting surpasses his behavior. I assume that if I had a studio, he wouldn't be my first choice to be in anything.
Yeah.
Well, you also don't operate like a lot of them, so that's why you wouldn't price, because a lot of them they promote that type of behavior, hence why they keep promoting each other and failing upwards and such. And
Then we're gonna wrap up.
Go ahead.
I was saying, then we're gonna wrap all this business up here with the trailers and stuff because we actually have some news to get into. We're already an hour into the show, kids. Kung Fu Panda 4 looks good going the Ray Palpatine route, though, says Truth, Hope, Love with Aquafina Fox. Yeah, I've seen that she's in this new one. I've only seen the first one anyway. I was like, okay, whatever. It's kids, cute, whatever.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy them. That's definitely not gonna help anything, and I'll probably end up saying
You're not the biggest fan of her, are you?
Oh,
no. Well,
the least terrible she was in Renfield. I enjoy Renfield like you, Tom. I enjoy it, but man, like she definitely any negative points I have about that movie were because of her.
Yeah, I can agree. But one thing I do know you like is the Karate Kid.
Oh yeah, let's talk about.
And we now know who our new Karate Kid is. This supposedly open casting call, which I call bullshit. Because they said from the start they were looking for an Asian kid. Like, how can you have an open casting call if you know exactly the race of the kid you're looking for?
Well, not only that, every open casting call is BS because it's not real. It's really just to say casting department has already made the decision, but they don't want to look like they're being too playing favoritism. So we'll just make an open casting call, and then we'll just eventually announce the kid or the actor that everybody in town has known about, who's been on the rise for the last 4 or 5 years, to bring them in. And that's what they did. Exactly.
Yeah. So this thing has become more real. We now know who the new Karate Kid is. Is it just me, but does this feel like somehow reverse racist to make the Karate Kid like I just does it and then have an Italian guy teaching him? Is that why they have to have Jackie Chan in this movie?
Probably DEI rules.
Do you get where I'm coming from? Like,
yeah.
Well, they're making it more about the ethnicity than the philosophy of the karate.
Well, let me shoot it to you this way. I honestly would maybe be like, there's maybe something to this movie if Jackie Chan wasn't in the motherfucker, and I'll tell you why. It's a reversal on the original film.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have the notion that, this kid would know karate because he's Asian. Well, no, he don't. He gets a shit kicked out of him. So Daniel LaRusso, the whitest white guy next to you that you can get besides a white guy, takes the Miyagi role. Okay, fine. It's a reversal on the original film, only this time it's an Asian kid or whatever. Or even you could even make it like a distant relative of Miyagi who's coming to stay. Yeah, and he's never been taught the karate, and that kind of gives it a lineage. No, bringing Jackie Chan into this now just feels like you're padding the racism.
Yeah, like, it feels like more like a sequel to the one with Jaden Smith than anything else.
Yeah, what'd you say, Script?
It's also like a little bit of like, what if are they going to set this character, this Ben Wang character, as if he's been whitewashed and fully Americanized, and he doesn't understand the values and traditions of his culture? Like, that's like a touchy angle to go for if they're going to do it that way.
You know what? I think you're right, and that's where Jackie Chan comes in. How much you want to bet?
I'm probably think we're in lockstep on that, man. Like, it just feels weird. It just feels weird.
I think my idea would have flowed better. I think if you'd have had it been, this is a lost Miyagi, family member or like a cousin or whatever that never got taught. And of course, the only connection to Miyagi's karate now is Daniel, right? So
Oh boy.
Once they brought
Unnecessary.
Jackie Chan in, if he would, let's say, be training somebody that's maybe not Chinese, perhaps some people would frown upon that. I feel like there's other politics in play here, just having Jackie Chan in this. I like Jackie Chan, don't get me wrong. I just feel like
Yeah.
it's weird because Jackie Chan is Chinese and then this guy is Chinese. So really, they don't even need Daniel LaRusso. It's almost like Daniel LaRusso is shoehorned into a different setup here.
He's the bigger draw of the three. That's why
Actually,
they
you know what?
don't like him. That a name like Daniel LaRusso is a name that people recognize. He's there for the recognizability.
I take that back. I'm looking at this kid. You know who he looks like? Make him be the
Shadow Cat?
grandson of Sato.
Oh. You're probably that could go somewhere.
Mm-hmm. He looks a lot like that actor, actually. Now that I look at him, I'm like, he looks a lot like Sato. Like a young version of him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that being said, Mikey brings up a great point here. I don't know why he's not on the panel to make this point, because we miss him. But he's been a member for 33 months. He says karate is Japanese. This is true. Jackie Chan is Chinese, and this actor is freaking kung fu. Yeah, we are talking like football versus soccer here, people. This is gonna suck taco balls. Okay, you are correct 100%, Mike. At least in the original film, they gave this whole background to the characters and to where the karate came from and stuff. And that was my issue with the remake is, yeah, it should have just been called the Kung Fu Kid. And I wouldn't have had any problems with it being inspired by the Karate Kid then. Because, yeah, it's not the same thing.
But there is a movie called The Kung Fu Kid. I think I sent you the trailer to it a while back.
You did, but there is some countries where that movie is called the Kung Fu Kid, ironically. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know who else has been a member for 33 months? Holy crap, Goddess of Whim. Thank you so much for the support. Didn't say anything. I think it's just a milestone. But
members are everywhere.
Oh, he's driving. Of course he is. He's in California still. You're so busy when you're in California.
I remember a rant saying you'd never go over to California again.
he is one busy YouTuber.
Oh, them's fighting words.
Oh, hey, you know, when you're a YouTuber, you either gotta be on the computer or you gotta be on the road.
That's true. He's got a point. He's got you there, Mikey. But then, I mean, he did accept it the other day. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not. I was on a stream with him. Well, he accepted it and he actually put it, you know, the way.
So that means his story arc is almost complete. He's almost washed away of the Snyderness and accepting of being a YouTuber. That's called a character development in real life. Hell yeah.
See, that's totally not photoshopped at all. I mean, that's I was going to say flawless, but there's no photoshopping, so there is no. Of course, it would look flawless.
Nope. He is the best.
That's legit.
Yeah, I think even the FBI would say that.
Oh, even the FBI. Wow.
Mikey's driving. He's going to be like, "What the fuck is going on?" You stop that. You stop that right now. 3, 2. Stay on the road, Mike.
Remember, you got to do voice to text. So it's going to take
I hope so. You're typing while you're driving.
Yeah, I hope.
Well, to be fair, he's in California traffic. He probably hasn't moved for about 40
standing
minutes.
still.
So it makes this is a good time for him to be doing it again.
Oh Lord! So we'll have to see with this Karate Kid movie. Are they still planning on having it out by the end of this year? See,
I know
people better stop.
Yeah. Well, I've seen more movement on Cobra Kai 6.
Yeah,
it's trying to come out this year.
Yeah, I saw that they're finally getting filming on the 6th and final season, which is
yeah. I knew they were just before the official announcement because I think I don't know if he was supposed to do this or not, but God, I just forgot his name. William Zabka posted on his personal Facebook a training video. He's like getting warmed up for season 6 or whatever. So I knew they were about to head into filming when they announced it officially that they were back in filming. But yeah,
cool.
So yeah, hopefully that gets done. But like, I thought this was supposed to be out by Christmas, but I think I predicted that it's going to get moved too. I think, but it
Well, it
was on
might
that
do another.
announcement thing recently.
Well, it might do like another January or February thing, like they did a couple years back.
Then again, I mean, it's early enough. If they actually get shooting soon, they don't need any special effects or nothing. I mean, it's
They really don't. I mean, all they have to do is
Yeah.
just make sure they get complete before IATSE goes on strike, so they can jump into post production.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They might just be waiting for that to happen so they can delay it anyways because they were going to. They just want to use that as an excuse.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be surprised if that's the case. But speaking of excuses, unless
Maybe it'll
anybody else
come
has anything
out
more to say
at
about
the end of
Karate
the
Kid,
year.
sorry.
It might come out. Cobra Kai might come out New Year's Eve. Because was it season 4 where they put out on New Year's Day or something like that, or New Year's
think
Eve?
so.
They did it right around that point. Season 4. They
Normally it's out between August and October though, but yeah, that one season was in January. I think they're shooting for
it was an exception season where they
I think
had
they're
on
shooting
it on
for
both
even
times.
if they have to try and get this other movie out, I think they're going to try and have that final season done and out before,
Oh, it'll be out before the movie. That's
which should
not
probably be
even
like
close.
August or October, and then that way they can start promoting Karate Kid then, because they're not going to want to overlap the.
Nope, they're not, because they know this show would be the bigger draw by far and large.
Well, it's not just that, you just don't want to confuse the two in this sense. It's like
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Do you think they're going to end the season 6 of Cobra Kai with some kind of teaser for this other movie?
No, I don't think they will. And I'll tell you why I don't think they will, and that's because unless which as far as I know, the Cobra Kai guys have nothing to do with this movie, unless it's something that's stipulated by Sony that they have to, which I think they would resist, because to me, I think this is supposed to be some tangential thing. That's where I'm saying, like, I think Script and I have pretty much nailed what this movie is going to be already. I would not be surprised.
Because again, it's also Sony, and
Yeah.
Sony has lesser hits than than any of the other studios, regardless of any of your woke ideological stuff there is.
Mhm.
It's just that's just their normal metric.
Mm-hmm.
Are they just trying to appeal to a Chinese audience? What's the deal? I'm still.
That's probably there's probably a part of that.
Yeah,
there's an angle that I don't fully understand with this movie. Even until now, I haven't fully figured out the angle.
Maybe that first movie did very well over there, and I don't know about it because I know the movie did okay. It did well enough that Sony wanted to do a sequel, but it was Will Smith's kid, I think, that got in the way of that happening, because that's about the time he went batshit crazy, literally running around in like that white Batman suit and everything like that. But because the sequel's plot was actually written, and they were literally like weeks, I guess, away from production when it all fell apart. The plot was going to be that Jackie Chan got killed pretty early on in the movie by I can't remember if it was who it was, but and then the rest of the movie is Jaden going out and getting revenge for his character. That was supposed to be the sequel, and Sony was all on board with that shit. If that tells you anything. To me, this is weird. The weird thing about this, what feels like it felt to me almost like they were trying to force Netflix's hand at first, because Netflix was teetering on whether or not they were going to do a season 6.
Right.
So I thought at first the only reason Sony did that was to announce, basically to light a fire under Netflix's ass, to say, look, if you're not going to do this as a season, then we're going to make a movie. So, but then when they went forward with it, I don't know if this has always been something that's been in the cards anyway, because this was part of the deal that was made early on, is that, there's nothing stopping Overbrook, or whatever the hell they're called, the Will Smith company, from making another Jackie Chan Karate Kid movie. Like, there's no stipulations or anything like that. That was part of the deal to begin with, and that's why it was a TV series, was so that the cinematic universe would be the Jackie Chan one. So I don't know, and that was so long ago, I wouldn't think any contracts still really hold to that, where they have to make it one of those. That's what makes it weird to me. So I honestly think you're right, Price. To my long explanation to go roundabout, I think there's some Chinese money involved in this movie, and it's all to do with Jackie Chan being in it.
Maybe there's also a stipulation where if Will Smith's company doesn't produce a feature film, then they lose the feature film rights, but still retain the TV rights because they're associated with Cobra Kai.
You may be right, but when I looked into it, when they bought into this, they bought into it like in a way that they weren't stuck having to make, like they
No
weren't
obligation
desperate to
required,
make.
right?
Yeah, because that was a thing because the guys who pitched Cobra Kai, from my memory from their interview, they they didn't have to do anything, and they weren't in any hurry to make any sequels or anything like that. So they got turned down the first time they brought it in.
Mhm.
So it and then when they brought it in the second time, they even reiterated that, oh yeah, this opens it up, leaves it open to where if you still want to do a movie with Jackie Chan, it's doesn't get in the way of that, obviously, and all that kind of stuff, and blah 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 blah. But the only thing this changes now is what the makers said originally, and that was that movie was a movie in their universe, and the Karate Kid is the real universe. So now this is crossing the two over. So I'm not so sure they're on board with that at all. So
Yeah, that's you know what? That is as interesting as it is, and congratulations to the kid. I'm just waiting for them to eventually announce that Hilary Swank's coming in for season 6 of Cobra Kai.
she'll be there. I
I mean,
think I
yeah.
seen one shot where I think she's in it because it's the kids are training and doing something, and they're all looking at somebody who's off screen.
Yeah.
And Daniel's there, and what's his face is there. I just forgot. Chosen's there. So I'm like, okay, so who's the third person? Obviously.
I wouldn't
I mean,
mind it. I
is it
mean,
gonna it's
the,
not
the
gonna be
next
Nico, is
Karate
it? But yeah.
Kid isn't a great movie, but it still had Mr. Miyagi in it, and I thought Hilary Swank was at least athletic. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing. Not great, but
The only problem with it is the third act.
Yeah.
The third act's the only problem with that movie. And it's because you have this asinine, fucking overly policing school
Michael
guy.
Ironside.
Michael
Yeah,
Ironside, yeah.
yeah, that's the whole problem with the movie. There's enough shit there to where if you had left that out and just had them be bullies that were just fucking with her the whole time, like the first movie, because otherwise there's enough changes and interesting stuff in the movie that it works, right? You have and that's what I said. It works in this universe because she is somebody who already knew karate. Mr. Miyagi didn't have to teach her shit. What she needed to learn was discipline
Mhm.
and how to channel her anger better. And that's why he drug her off to the monastery. And that's the best part of the movie, as far as I'm concerned. And then when they come to visit is the other best part. But like, yeah, once that third act kicks in and it turns into this whole like just to try and have like a weird callback to the tournament because you have to have some stupid showdown like that was dumb. And they could have
Yeah.
just had female antagonists too, because Mean Girls are just as real as male bullies, right? So, and part of that could have been that she was already kicking ass, and then Miyagi had to teach her, look, kicking everybody's ass isn't the answer to everything. That also
Yeah.
could have been the lesson.
Like turning her from a bully to a hero type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's would be kind of a comment on the original film because there's still people that would argue that Daniel kind of brought on a lot of that shit onto himself. And that's what I love about
Cobra
Cobra
Kai is
Kai.
so good at that.
It does ask that question, even though in the answer at the end is, yeah, he did kind of bring it on himself, but Johnny did go overboard. So there's, it's tit for tat in that respect.
They
And
were
I think
their
that's
own
why
worst
those two will
enemies.
work together. Exactly. And I think that's why they'll end up working together so well, but they just got to get over that hump. But anyway, that being said, we got a bit more of news to talk about here before we close this out. And I know you got to run here pretty soon, Nick, because you got a show. And I think Klobby as well does. Amazon Prime sparks a class action lawsuit from the subscribers. Now, what this is about, from my understanding, unless somebody else knows more, so I've only got a cursory glance at this and a chance to go over it, but there's a class action lawsuit being brought on because they brought in ads without even asking or alerting their customers to this. So
I thought there was an alert about it. At least
and that was what I was saying. I thought I remember hearing something too, but
yeah.
So what do we think here, guys? Do we think this is a class action lawsuit that actually has a shot? Let's find out. Amazon is facing a lawsuit accusing of misleading Prime subscribers by charging them an additional fee to stream movies and TV shows without ads. A proposed class action lawsuit filed Friday in California federal court claims the breach of contract and violates of state consumer protection laws on behalf of users who saw the terms of their subscriptions with Amazon change when it pivoted to making its ad tier the default for its over 100 million subscribers. 2023, Amazon, which declined to comment, announced plans to turn on ads for all Prime Video users or viewers. Sorry, the platform last month rolled out the change, instantly turning the service into streaming ad juggernaut and the largest ad-supported subscription streamer. Users must pay an additional $2.99 per month to watch without ads. When Amazon altered its terms, users who had signed up for the annual subscriptions were also impacted. So here's where, okay. So
Oh, there
they
you go.
actually have a case. They
If it's
allege
an
the
annual
change
one.
is deceptive. Yeah. So
Because
subscribe.
monthly you can get away with it. You're right. The annual, that's a flat yearly rate.
It's
So
still baked into the agreement. I
Mhm.
think a court would see this as a plausible exception because, and before even going any farther, I think we can all agree that it's just kind of like you have to grandfather those customers in.
right.
You can't not. Even if you have the right to do it with what you have in your legalese as a customer, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a court or especially a jury that's going to agree with a corporation that isn't some shady ass tactics, even if they could technically do it by law.
Don't you
I'm
pay
sure
for
there's
Prime once a year?
Yeah.
Most people do.
So
Yeah,
in
there's
that sense,
some
what
of
they
those
have
stipulations would be like subject to change without notice, blah blah blah, that type of thing. But
this is how they could have done it and avoided any kind of issue. They would have just said, the next time that you're up for renewal, they tell you, we want you to know that this year, that now that you're renewing, this year it's going to be an additional X if you want no commercials, because at least then it's not in the middle of your subscription. If you already committed to a whole year thinking that it's commercial free and only and in the middle they change the terms, that's where it becomes crappy. But if they would have just waited till each customer has to renew for the year and just said, hey, we're changing our terms, do you still want to renew, that would have been more above board, and that's probably what the lawsuit will focus on.
And I agree. And the chances are they probably did put out an email that nobody read, and they probably did announce it publicly, as I think Hollywood Reporter here did point out. But this is still in that shady, deceptive practice where I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. I think they may have a case here in this one. And at first, when I first heard about this, I wasn't so sure. But then again, at that point, I was just like, well, they may still settle in some way just to kind of save face, right? Because it's not worth. But at this point, if I was Amazon, all I would do is just turn around and turn off the ad-supported shit for anybody who paid for a year's subscription at this
Right.
point. And
Right.
and end it there and settle it that way, because at that point, and then give everybody a free month. There you go. Like, this is stupid of them because they're going to lose this. I think you guys are right, because this is
Maybe
even
they
though they may,
shouldn't have spent
yeah.
$1 billion on Rings of Power. Now they're nickel and diming, their own customers.
well,
You're probably
Amazon's
not
been
far
doing that
off.
since the start, unfortunately, even before they started making bad
Neil
TV.
says he got the email. Yep. So, and that's the thing, Neil. You are one of, I hate to say this, maybe 1,000 people, maybe 1 out of 1,000 people might have read that email.
I never
Yeah.
saw it or read it.
And that's the thing, is some people could even argue that a lot of that stuff ends up going to their spam folders.
For sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, the only other stipulation would be, was there ever a notification, like when you logged into your Amazon Prime, that they had a pop-up that said, starting this month or what have you? And if there was, and they quickly X'd it out because they thought it was another ad. Yeah, I mean, there's complications, of course, but looking at general terms and conditions when it comes to Amazon and other stuff, they always have that paragraph. We have the right to change this contract at any points without any actual notice, blah, blah, blah. But again, the annual stuff versus the monthly, I think the annual stuff has a bit more maneuverability.
And none of us are lawyers, but from just enough of the cursory knowledge that I have, that stipulation still has to fall within fair grounds, right? Like, again, I think a judge could look at this and go, yes, these people have grounds to sue because it is a bit of a deceptive move on their part. And again, then it goes up to either, I understand, I think it's a jury civil trial or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. There's a civil trial like this, not a jury. Yeah. So, and then, yeah, like I said, what jury is going to agree with Amazon in this case? I don't think any of them are, but
yeah. And were there any stipulations to opt out?
That's the other thing too. And that's maybe how they could have also saved their ass. They should have had it to where you required some sort of response to that email. And that's where a lot of these things are a problem, or at least a response on your physical Amazon Prime. Because the other thing is, I already have issues with, like, I get my Paramount Plus through Amazon Prime, right? And I get stuck sitting through anywhere from a minute to a minute and a half of ads just for Paramount Plus when I pay for them already. And I'm always stuck there, and you can't skip them on Amazon. I don't know if you can on the Paramount Plus app, but you can't. Like, I got to sit through an ad for 1888 or whatever the hell thing they want to advertise this week.
So here's the other question too. What happens to the people that signed up annually a month or 2 months before this change actually came into effect? Because now they're really screwed, right?
Yeah.
No.
And that's where I said the easy out for this would be to Amazon just to say, look, all we're going to do is, and if they offer that to the as a settlement, and that's probably what will happen. But no, it's bad for business. Anybody else got any points on this? I mean, any other Amazon users? 'Cause that's the other thing they have is they have a lot of users, but I don't even think they've still gone much above that 30 to 40% threshold of people actually using their video service. They just use it for the free shipping.
Yeah.
The thing with annual plans is once
once
they have your money, they have your money.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped.
I got nothing to add here.
I stopped paying them subscriptions after Rings of Power. The funny thing is, every time I want to actually buy something from them, they offer me a free month. So I just I still have Amazon Prime because they just keep offering me a new free month every time I want to buy something. I keep canceling it. It's like, and honestly, if they didn't offer me the free month, I wouldn't buy the thing. Maybe they know that, so they just keep offering it to me for free.
It's one of the few streaming services I do have. I'm not one of those people who say, "Oh man, I gotta have all of them because I'll catch up on all these things." It's one of the few things I have because it's got a lot of movies on there that I can rent and watch, especially if I don't have a physical copy of it yet. So it does get credit for that. And their streaming shows are hit or miss. The ones I like, I really enjoy. And then there's stuff that exists that doesn't look good. So it's I can't imagine where this is gonna go. Honestly, I have a feeling this is not gonna really amount to anything. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just think it's a big nothing burger.
All right.
I mean,
anybody else?
Like, if I had an annual subscription and they, I think there's one difference here, right? If I had an annual subscription and they had my credit card on file, and then they suddenly changed the price midway through and charged me an extra like $50 that I hadn't already paid halfway into my annual plan, it's like, what are you doing taking my money? We had an agreement, I can see where this is coming from. They are changing the terms. They're adding commercials wherein I may have agreed not to have commercials. But I mean, the customers aren't being charged. They're not being charged additional money beyond what they already paid when they originally paid for the annual plan, right? Is that's my
yeah, you pay out the annual plan. Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing is that's where I see they have a case here. Like, right? Like, because if you're a member of the annual plan, yeah. I mean, you paid for something for a year, and like Script said, even if it was 2 months before they made this change, I think they have to allow those customers to go ad free for a year, or get a $2.99 per month discount,
a rebate $2.99 off of every purchase, or one purchase per month.
No, just the service every month. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. I think this is one that might be interesting. They may have a case here, so we'll see. I think Amazon's just going to settle though.
Yeah, to sell. I mean, it's a buy your way out of it because they got the money to do it.
They're so willing to give away free trials. They can settle this pretty easily.
That's what I mean. Yeah, and they'll probably settle with what I exactly said. They'll just make sure that everybody who has this thing will get the next few months without any ads, if that's possible, which I believe it is. You'll just put them on the premium plan or whatever, and then you give them like a free month. And that's the thing is, once you sign on to that, then you're done. It's over. Yeah, that's usually the way a lot of these work out.
Everybody that still has months on there before their annual renewal, they'll just say you have 6 months, and we'll give you for those 6 months $2.99 back. Like you'll get $18 or something now.
I don't even know if they'll go that far, but you might be right.
And the next time you renew, you just should know that you're renewing. If you want it, you have to pay more for no ads.
I mean, at that point, that kind of goes without saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, and they're not going to be able to sit there and retroactively figure everybody out. So what they'll just do is offer a general 1 month free at the end of this run or whatever, and then, like you said, if they want to re-sign up, then they have to
Even if
re-sign
it's a temporary loss, they can still. It can be a temporary loss where they'll seemingly take a hit, but then in the long term, they're still gonna come out on top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Anybody else got anything to say about this? I think we've exhausted it.
I got nothing. Well,
All right.
kind of.
First I've
Well,
heard
there's
about it.
one more story, and then we get out of here. He-Man's back in the works again.
Again?
Well,
studio this
Amazon.
time?
Well, Amazon
Amazon.
picked it up a while back, so we all knew they were going to try and do something with it anyway. And what they've done now is they've got Travis Knight, who's worked on most recently like Bumblebee movie, Kubo and the Two Strings, stuff like that. Not a lot of stuff. Yeah, not a lot of stuff in his resume. But what they're doing, though, it sounds like they're going back to the script where He-Man is mostly on Earth and he forgets who he is. Yeah, I knew script knew exactly which one I was talking about from that crowd. Which is the cheap script.
Yeah,
basically.
We don't have enough money to film in the Saltlands and call it Eternia. We're just going to go to downtown San Francisco.
Yeah, and basically, for those who don't know, this is what they were going to do for the sequel to the Dolph Lundgren movie to save money. It's almost the same plot, and then this Travis Knight guy, I think he's a good choice, but frankly, it sounds like they're not giving him anything to work with. Now, I hope Andre's right. He thinks that this being an older version of the story, that he's going to kick this story out and bring in some new writers, maybe even work on it himself or what have you. And we're going to get a completely new take. I hope that's the case. But the other problem is they're so deep into this movie already. They've spent so much money. I think Amazon paid, 30 or 40 million just to get the rights to this. So that was, I think, even at a loss to Netflix and Sony at the end of the day from what they've already put into it. So I think at one point we had reported that Sony had already sunk nearly, I want to say like $50 million or more into pre-production costs into this bastard. So this is a movie that's been just in development hell for close to 2 decades or more now. So yeah, does anybody have any faith in this at all? I mean, I'm sure Andre and I'll have more to say about this in the morning. So I'm going to turn this over to you guys now. But yeah, who wants to start with this?
I have no faith in it. I think it's going
I
to be a
have no
stinker.
He-Man knowledge.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to be a stinker.
All I know is that the next couple of contracts that I have negotiate well and I get signed in the next couple of weeks, the first thing I'm going to do is just basically have those representatives reach out to him and be like, I can pitch you a cheap He-Man Masters of the Universe thing, because they're going to need it. And yeah, hanging on to this script or this story for any length of time is going to be bad news for it. And Travis, I think he did a good job with Bumblebee. That was a far better version of what that could have been, or what that was initially planned to be. So you've got that. The other part is Amazon only going to make this for streaming, or are they going to risk a theatrical?
Yeah, I don't know on that. That's a good question because, frankly, like, I'll be honest with you, you don't have to, like, I don't understand this. Like you just said, you can just film it in the fucking desert. With the way things are now, it's not like as expensive as it used to be to do the things that you need to be done to make this a damn He-Man movie. And I would think Amazon is underselling themselves with this. They have a chance now to show up Netflix and Kevin Smith's Motu and all that kind of business. And all you got to do is just do what they did in the 2000 series. Andre and I have been saying it for years. That's all you got to do. It's not that hard. And you can make a kick-ass He-Man movie and you wouldn't even have to spend all that much. But they're going to fuck it up probably. So
Yeah, we all know what's going to happen.
And weird thing is, we're more worried. Andre and I are more worried about the diversity quota shit at Amazon.
Jennifer
than
Salke
anything.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And that I'm glad you brought that up because it reminds me of the things that I do like. I'm sure they won't be all that good that much longer, especially with how much they're going so much more all in than everyone else on it. I remember listening to R&B go over it, and it just like to even say it's walking on eggshells does even sell how crazy. It's amazing how many movies you cannot make with that new quota. There's almost every movie in from I'd say 2009 and before. There's so many of them you couldn't make. Maybe some horror movies you can make for social purposes you could, but it's amazing how many movies you could not make with that thing. It's absolutely nuts and psychotic how that Amazon version of DEI is.
I could technically make a comedy from those points, but that being a comedy would probably make it no longer qualify.
Well, what's sad is that this is right after Barbie happened, and it's like, come on, you can do this. This could
The
be the
Amazon
next Barbie.
Yeah. Well,
the Master of the Universe
true.
stuff. Yeah, it could be.
If you do it
should
right.
be. Yeah,
They
if you
could
do it
also
right.
make it cool. I'm not saying Game of Thrones, but I'm just saying they could really make it that it takes itself seriously, that they're actually in castles and stuff, and there's a king, and
mix of
everything.
magic and tech. Yeah.
They could make this cool if they actually bothered to do it. And there's so many other crappy movies they made that they spent so many, all these studios that they've spent money on, and I feel like this probably would have been a better choice, but somehow they never tried it.
Are you sleeping, Clobby? Are you joking? I hope he's joking.
I
If he's not joking, he has sleep apnea. I can tell.
Uh,
I just heard him.
Care have a pillow on it?
I just heard him laugh. I just heard him laugh.
What'd you say? What?
We heard you.
Trying to sleep around here.
All right, we get the hint. All right, Jason
I'm
Webster
just
sends
making
in.
fun of that guy. He
Nah,
looks
it's all
weird.
good. Yeah. We've got Jason Webster sending an Australian $10 dues. Says the new Oscar category should be Best Foreign Actor, Best Foreign Actress, Best Young Actor, Best Young Actress, and Best Stunt Choreography. Remove the short film categories. Well, I disagree with the latter. I agree with choreography. I don't see the point in Best Young and Best. Yeah, that to me starts to feel a little too much like MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah.
Best Foreign, you might have something there. Maybe Best Foreign Cast, if not Best.
Or
Specific.
best actor in a foreign film, because that makes it a little bit more easier. Because there's a lot of actors from all over the world that do Hollywood movies.
That's true. Yeah, you got to word it correctly as well. That's correct. But yeah, for the most part, I agree with you. But no, I think short films still deserve their place. And yeah, definitely Best Stunt Choreography and Best Stunt should be categories. But the Best Young thing is usually just comes off as a gimmick, and then you risk, building too much of an expectation for that individual, especially a young person like that. Yeah, they've given out young Oscars before, though, in that sense, I guess, like Mickey
Precious.
Rooney and all that kind of stuff.
Young Oscars. The young Oscars.
Jason Webster sends in another 5 and says the short film categories move to the technical awards ceremony and the winners acknowledged during the Oscar ceremony. Maybe, but see, I don't know. See, I like that the short films are given some kind of acknowledgement during the actual showcase, though. And I think that haven't they started it to where you can actually go see the short films on their website now, Script, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they did that last year and the year before. I can't remember because I really do forget about the Oscars once they come.
True, that's fair. But that being said, I mean, they're kind of the breeding ground. Like, they're the places we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, they're the potential new filmmakers and actors that could be taking the industry by storm.
At least they used to be. And in some cases they still are, but now it seems like they're picked for the wrong reasons, not for the quality of the short film, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
some of
yeah.
the short films I would say were not Oscar worthy last
Yeah.
year.
Or most years, but it just depends. In the last few years, I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, let's wrap this up because I know some of you guys got some places to be. Nick is going to tell you how white men can't jump.
You racist.
True. I am going to tell you about that in less than a half hour. Toxic Tuesday. And some people are like, "Oh, which version?" Like, you're kidding me, right? We don't talk about that remake nonsense. That doesn't exist.
There was a
Woody
remake.
Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. Anything else is pretentious, filled with posers, and it is not real. Even
was
if
a
it does
remake?
have the original star's endorsement, I don't care. So yeah, White Men Can't Jump, Toxic Tuesday, less than a half hour. It's gonna be absolutely huge. Come hang out if you haven't joined us for Toxic Tuesday yet. It's gonna be a glorioso time. Good stream, and thanks for having me as always. Chat, panel, Tom.
All right, Klobby, I think you got something coming up too, don't you?
No, not tonight. Tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night. I always do that to you.
Wild card Wednesday night. My buddy Max Redstone will be joining me to argue about Superman 2. He's mad at me for not liking it and hating it and stuff. And for years has been on my ass to come on and talk about it. So I guess I'm gonna have to just be mean to him and smack him down all over. So there's to it. So be prepare some from Klobby Cruelty, rare Klobby Cruelty tomorrow night on a wild card show. Then of course Thursday night they'll be here with Raquel and Mark for the Clubhouse and many other shows after that. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Of course, always glad to have you here. Script, what you got going on?
Just plugging away, getting stuff prepped for this Saturday Script on Saturday show, and then of course working during the days. I'm slowly being migrated over to LA time, which annoys me because I'm up later than I prefer to be.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, CC karaoke, Lokioki. What else?
Friday night karaoke with Tom, Price of Reason, and a dragon. Usually after Loki's. So late night, actually.
Lokioki.
No, Pacific time, late 10 p.m. Pacific.
All right, sounds good. Price, what you got going on?
Well, the Thursday Quantum Leap show on Price of Reason
Sadie,
Live.
shush.
What'd you say?
Told Sadie to shush.
Oh, I thought he was telling me. I'm
She's
like,
getting
okay.
impatient. She went out just before the show. She can wait 2 seconds.
So Price of Reason Live, Quantum Leap, and then
She's just
tonight,
being a woman.
and tonight it's likely that around midnight I'm going to do an experimental stream, but I don't know if anybody will notice, but but there may be such a thing around midnight.
Huh? Like, you're going to try some
Are you
college
gonna-
stuff?
You're gonna live stream watching something terrible tonight, Price? Or
No,
No.
there's just a guy I know, and we said maybe we do a stream, and it's kind of still up in the air, so it may just be a last minute development, but it could happen maybe at midnight tonight, midnight
all
Eastern
right.
time.
I thought maybe it was going to be some gay stuff going on, perhaps.
No, I mean it's perfectly fine if you like that kind of stuff, but I don't know if it'll be that stuff will appear on my
Well, it
channel.
is Quantum Leap. So.
Stuff is made for Toxic Tuesday, anyways.
And no,
I'm
Paulie, I
sorry.
didn't get to watch the video yet, but I did see the post, and I've heard it's pretty funny. So hopefully, I get a chance to check it out here. I've been pretty busy here, so. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out tonight. We appreciate it as always. And yes, Sadie, I know you think it's time to go out. Well, you can wait 2 minutes. You can wait 2 minutes.
Wow.
Typical woman. Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. Yeah.
Wow.
No, you quit being such a buggy. I don't know if you guys can see her or not. Probably not because she's over on
Puppy
this
dog.
side here.
We can hear her.
Yeah, you can hear her. She's telling me what. All right, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. Well, yeah, she's impatient. She does not want to wait. Well, now she's gonna go sit down. Oh, she's back. Never mind. I also want to thank Jay for showing up as always. Even Sadie thanks her.
Oh, poor puppy.
And with that, we will see you on the morning show and stuff. Oh, Jay's gonna say something. Never mind.